European nations love their alliances. The Franco-Ottoman alliance, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance, the Triple Alliance, and not to mention the Swedish anyone who isn't Denmark alliance. And one alliance which often isn't discussed, probably because of the whole failure thing, was the League of the Three Emperors, which saw Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia twice attempt to ally together to maintain a balance of power in Europe. This alliance was obviously extremely powerful, and given its ability to change the face of the continent, why didn't it last? Why did the League of the Three Emperors fail twice? So, when it comes to alliances in the late 19th century, Germany was fairly promiscuous. And the policy reason behind this, formulated by Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, was fairly simple. To hell with France. Germany's creation had seen it rip these lands from France in 1871, and Bismarck knew that one day France would seek to get them back, and that the best way for him to prevent this was to create a series of alliances that would dissuade France from trying at all. Which is why Bismarck turned to his neighbours. To the east, the vast Russian Empire led by Alexander II. Bismarck also looked to the south at the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was less keen on the Prussian leadership of Germany, having recently lost the war to them, but nobody else liked it, so tough. This alliance was agreed in 1873, and it's important to note that this alliance wasn't a formal one in the sense of a declaration of war against one meant one against all. It was one in which the three agreed to not upset the already existing balance of power, to help each other suppress revolts, and to provide some troops and equipment in case of war involving a country not part of the treaty. Sounds simple, except that a mere 5 years later, the League of the Three Emperors was over. So why did this happen? Well, there were two reasons. The first was France. After its previous defeat, France swiftly rearmed, leading Bismarck to believe war was in sight. As such, he publicly threatened a preemptive invasion of France to stop this, and the Russian Emperor made it clear that if this happened, he'd invade from the east. The second reason was the Balkans, specifically Bulgaria. In 1878, Russia decisively won a war against the Ottoman Empire, and as a result dictated its allies Bulgaria's expansion to this. This importantly gave Russia access to these ports in the Aegean and made it a player in the Mediterranean. Everybody who was already there freaked out, and there were rumblings of war. As such, Germany offered to mediate and settled on these borders. This upset the Russians because they lost their port, and it also upset the Austro-Hungarians, who felt that Russia was inciting Slavic rebellions, and the alliance promptly broke up. Undeterred, Bismarck pushed for a second, much more formal alliance which would condemn France to having no friends. In 1879, he concluded the dual alliance with Austria-Hungary, in which both formally agreed to defend each other. Russia wouldn't agree to a formal defensive alliance, and so instead Bismarck compromised. The new alliance, the League of the Three Emperors, would see Russia agree to discreetly support either Germany or Austria in the event of a war with an outside power, and those two agreed to support Russia in a war against Britain. For Bismarck, this was enough, and it eliminated the possibility of Germany having to fight a two-front war. And this time, this alliance managed to last for 6 years. So what happened the second time? The Balkans happened. And again, it was Bulgaria. After the 1878 changes, the Bulgarian people living here revolted against the Ottoman Empire, and they declared that they were joining the rest of the semi-independent Bulgaria, which promptly declared that it was now independent. Whilst this was going on, Serbia invaded, lost, but it had the backing of Austria-Hungary, who came to their rescue. Russian leaders were furious with their ally not consulting them, and so promptly dissolved the alliance. Bismarck wanted to try again, but he was too busy being fired by the new Kaiser Wilhelm II. As such, Russia turned to France, and the two signed an alliance in 1894, which set the stage for the alliance system leading to World War